Once again, the living seek to tread on the domains of the dead. This fledgling city of Sigmar was given the privilege to exist should it maintain its tithe. But how many warm bodies had been sent away for the latest Dawnbringer crusade? Vokmorshin's presence was nothing more than a formality. Katakros knew the tithe could not be met by the interred. It would fall on him to balance the scales. The clanging of Vokmorshin's staff caught his attention. By his stride, Katakros could tell the tithe master's demands had not been met. Katakros eyed his Gnosis scroll-bearer, silently commanding him to carry his word to the city. Once again, the Mortarch of the Necropolis would know the joy of war. Every time war met the walls of the men of Sigmar, smoke always blankets the city. The roar of their cannons and guns against the unfeeling legion, blowing out the ears of the living as they fight desperate to survive. Katakros watched on, content. The shots of the men never slowed, but aired increasingly as the battlefield obscured. With a simple gesture, the Mortarch crawlers were ordered to unleash their barrage of necrotic skulls, plumes of smoke rising as the walls and the men defending them failed. The Harvester breached the gate, and the Mortarch fled through the rubble of the walls. Katakros' banners now paraded through the city, slowly silencing the chaos. Katakros had not left his position from which he surveyed the battle. The men of Sigmar had fled, fleeing to the temple of their god for one last heroic stand. The Aviarch spymaster's work proved fruitful. The map of the city let them be corralled and trapped by the Arsiarch. Whole squads trapped between the burning and ravaged remains of their home and unflinching, ever-grinning Mortarch. The splintering and collapsing of wood and stone echoed like thunder across the battlefield. Even Katakros could hear it, so far removed like he was with the rest of his army. It continued to echo ever closer and closer, until the heavens finally rent apart. They came in great bolts of light, armor shining in burgundy hues as the champions of Sigmar struck his position. Katakros stood unperturbed, ordering his rear guard to hold firm against the Stormcast. Annihilators cleaved droves of the Arsiarch down, however, lightning and Azurite might crackling through their grand hammers. Bolts of lightning struck Katakros on the chest, his immaculate form singed at the spot. Then he heard it, a loud cry from the Stormcast commander. The Lord Imperator was behind his soldiers, but vulnerable from their charge. With surprising speed, Katakros closed in, his Nadirite glaive cut, slicing towards the Stormcast. The armor of the Imperator wrenched with a sharp shrill as the metal split, but he stood resolute in his guard. This kill now belonged to the Mortarch. Nadirite metal clanged against Sigmarite steel. The Imperator's hammer rang loud against the shield of Mortis. Katakros thrust with his glaive, but the Stormcast parried the blow aside and swung the head of his baton straight against the crystal at his chest. The Imperator's eyes blinded from the lightning he conjured into the blow, taking a step back as the dust settled. For the smallest of moments, he relaxed, and that was all it took. Katakros strode forward, smashing his shield against the warrior. He stumbled back, rushing to raise his guard to protect his chest, but failed. The glaive sliced across his cheek.
You fought well,
Katakros spoke. The light faded from the Imperator as his eyes fluttered. The bright soul of the Stormcast was absorbed into the Nadirite. Like countless times before, the demigod of war stands triumphant.